Ugas doing well in recovery, but I got to ask a question, y'all. I have to ask a serious question.
Push the weight and no flex. Flex alive is one in the six. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I'm a 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Oh, this is a picture. I'm sure everyone has seen it. I'm not putting it up to clown or anything like that. That's Ugas with his beautiful wife after the Errol Spence fight. Broken orbital bone, things of that nature. I actually thought the fight would be a little more competitive, and this is why I'm doing this video, because I have a question for you guys, man. I mean, I thought the fight would be a little more competitive. I thought that Ugas would win early rounds, show that Cuban style, be in and out, and give Errol some angles, and Errol would figure him out in the championship rounds. And I did say that if it was going to be a stoppage, Errol would stop him, which is what happened. Or if it goes to the cards, Errol will win by UD, and there won't be no controversy, nothing like that. I just had Errol winning. What I didn't anticipate was Ugas simply stop punching, man. I mean, he would show flashes and he would throw combinations, but then he'd stop. And all this talk, and the irony behind how things work out, man, all of this talk about Errol not being the same after the car accident. Look, I could dig it when it first happened against Danny Garcia, because we didn't know. And be honest, I didn't like the Danny Garcia fight. I said maybe he should take a tune-up to see how he feels. I know he feels fine. He looks fine. He was blessed. He just knocked the teeth out of his mouth. But maybe Danny Garcia is too dangerous. Errol says, hold my beer. And I noticed in that Danny Garcia fight, Danny was acting like, not, I don't want to say not himself. He was playing it cautious. You hear his dad saying, yo, look, you blowing the fight, man. You giving it to him. I need you to throw. And Danny looked gun shy. And I was like, what's going on? To the point where I did read a couple, not too many. Oh, it was fixed. Danny wasn't throwing. He was paid to lay down. I'm like, no. I think it's something else. You go to this Ugas fight. Again, tough as nails. I haven't met a Cuban fighter that was a sucker. I haven't met any of them. In salute to Gamboa. I mean, although his chin is absolutely gone, he didn't quit. So these Cuban fighters are tough as nails, man. And I'm watching Ugas, and as the fight went on, his punch output declined. This seems to be the rhythm when these guys fighting, they start fighting Errol. Now, I want you to understand something. When I first heard of Errol Spence, I didn't even know. I had to match the name with the face. And the myth was there was some kid, they referred to him as a kid, that put the beats on Floyd Mayweather and got put out the gym, but Floyd said, no, go get him back. And, it was just rumors. And I said, oh, okay, well, a lot of things happen to your favorite fighter in sparring. All of your favorite fighters have had a bad day in sparring. And Errol was quiet about it. Years later, we find out, oh, this is the kid. And I said, man, he look like he's 12 years old. This is the guy? And I'm watching him fight. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking the guy that beat up, or the kid, as they referred to him, that beat up Floyd Mayweather in sparring was on some super duper, like you've never seen it before. And you think when you think of, you got to be a special fighter to beat Floyd, right? A prime top of his game Floyd, because Floyd been beat up in sparring before, ask what's his name? I'm having some memory lapse right now. the Italian kid. I had him on my show. I'm sorry. But he beat him up in sparring. Spadafora. Paul Spadafora beat up Floyd in sparring. There's video of it. But we're talking about years later, top of his game, Floyd Money Mayweather. And he gets in there and some kid beat him up. So I'm thinking, okay, that kid must be, if it's true, this kid must be on some Roy Jones. I've never seen angles and speed like that. And no, I said, this is the kid. And I'm seeing him beat these guys up. And I'm like, all right, okay. Very basic, nothing crazy. He's not throwing punches at odd angles. There's nothing crazy that he's doing based off of pure athleticism. It's very basic. But one thing has been consistent. Dudes get in there with him. If they don't get stopped, what they do is they stop punching. And they get overwhelmed. Now, Sean Porter was in the fight, and then he got dropped, and that sealed it for Errol. But, you know, I found out later by talking with Blu-ray that Errol didn't really train for that fight. Now, you know, we're not any excuses, you know, but he won, but whatever. And it makes you wonder, what if he did train for that fight? But back to my point. Listen, Ugas got in there, and his activity just declined. All this talk about Errol's injuries and his eye, will it be the same? He said, look, my eye with this surgery is better than the other eye. And speaking of eyes, you see this man's eye, right? It's funny how the universe works. So I just saw this tweet. They shared it. Thanks to everyone who is sending in their prayers. My eye was like this, closed and bleeding for almost 40 hours. It took like, it looked like tears of blood. Holy cow. But now it is open. In the next few days, with God's favor, when the swelling and bruising are at zero, we will go back to the doctor. That's serious, y'all. Errol didn't stop punching. All right? And the trouble that he did have was because he made what he called a rookie mistake. He said he thought he heard the ref said stop, and he did. Go check and salute the champ side. Check his video. The ref did say stop, which is why when Ugas hit him, he froze for a minute and he didn't jump on him. So Errol getting in trouble in that round when it happened, it wasn't because of something that Ugas set him up with. It was because of Errol making a mistake. Outside of that, Errol recovered and got back to business, and this is the result. And again, I'm not making fun of Ugas. I like Ugas. I met him briefly in Vegas. He's a good dude, and he deserves his roses right now. He deserved this fight. He did. But what I'm talking about here, the topic is what I want to ask you guys is, this seems to be an ongoing thing. Guys getting in the ring with Errol and they stop punching. Now, with a guy like Errol, I've heard people say that the key to beating Errol is to punch with him. And salute to the sensei, Stormy B, man. He said, you know, you got to punch with Errol. And I could dig it, man. I could dig it. I've heard a lot of people that train fighters say that. You got to punch with them. But here's my question. Is this what happens when you punch with Errol? Is it worth the pain? Because if this is the result, I don't know who's going to beat him at 147. Now, the Bud fight is going to happen. I'm looking at the cup half full instead of half empty. I'm just speaking it into existence, y'all. We don't know about any offers or nothing like that. I'm just follow me, y'all. I'm speaking it into existence. The Bud fight is going to happen. Okay. Is Bud going to stand there and punch with Errol? And I'm asking for a reason. Word on the block is, and we've seen it, that Bud is a little chinny. And if he stands there and punches with Errol, you see Ugas' face, right? Look, we seen Green Machine drop Bud. They blew the call, but he dropped him, man. We saw it. 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 Word on the street is Errol is punching with something else. Heard somebody say, yo, he punched like a goddamn heavyweight. I'm like, oh, man, that's a little OD. But is it really? I ain't never seen Ugas' eye look like this ever. He's been in there with Sean Porter. I thought he won that fight. He was in there with hard-hitting Manny Pacquiao, speed, angles, and he put the beats on Manny. He made Manny eye look like that, both of them. All this talk about eyes, but Errol's eyes just fine. So salute to Ugas. But my question to y'all is this kid hitting like a heavyweight? Because this is this is another opponent that late in the fight just stopped throwing. He stopped throwing. When you stop throwing and you're worried about more about defense, that means what you got coming back to you, you don't want none of that. And Errol was busy, the cardio was there, and I ain't see no bruises on his face, whatever. He was looking like he was ready to fight Sunday. And he was back in the gym. So that's my question to y'all. Is Errol Spence that much of a devastating puncher at 147 that he's unbeatable? And if you picking Bud to beat him, listen, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm not mad at that. But to beat Errol, if to beat Errol is to punch with Errol, you got to be concerned about these results. You got to be concerned. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Bronx on deck. Move!